What is up guys, it's Solheim here, back with another Wrath of the Lich King Classic video. So today we are talking about the Dungeon Finder in Wrath of the Lich King Classic, which is already a hot topic, as a lot of people love it, and a lot of people absolutely hate it. The goal of this video is to highlight the positive effects of the Dungeon Finder, and the negative effects of the Dungeon Finder, and ultimately find out, is the Dungeon Finder good or bad? To begin with, we need to talk a little bit about the Dungeon Finder in general, so let's do that. The Dungeon Finder is a system in Wrath of the Lich King, introduced to make it easier to find groups for dungeons, and that is basically what it does. You pick a role, you choose which dungeons you want to queue up for, and the Dungeon Finder puts you in a queue for those dungeons. When 3 DPS, 1 healer, and 1 tank reaches the same pool in that queue, you get a pop-up saying that your dungeon group is now ready, and upon clicking accept or enter, it will automatically group the 5 of you together, and also teleport you to the dungeon. Now, the Dungeon Finder did not come out until patch 3.3.0 in Wrath of the Lich King, so there is a slight chance we don't have it from the launch of Wrath Classic, but we also have to remember that Classic's patch is always based on the absolute final patch of the expansion. For example, we had things that did not come out until over a year into Vanilla WoW, which were available from the start in Classic WoW, and the same thing with TBC as well. The next thing we have to look at is what we are moving from. It is not like we are moving from Vanilla WoW's group system straight into Wrath of the Lich King's Dungeon Finder. We are moving from TBC Classic to Wrath. In TBC Classic right now, we already have a looking for group system, which can help you find a group for dungeons. The only real difference between this system and the Dungeon Finder are 2 things: the automation and the teleportation. The Dungeon Finder automatically finds a group for you and puts you in that group. The LFG system in TBC, well, like with that system, you have to manually whisper the other person or other people who are listed in the looking for more category. The Dungeon Finder also teleports you to the dungeon entrance, while the LFG system in TBC does not do this. Another thing that we are moving away from is the insane chat spam. Have you played on Fire more recently? There's about 900 billion boost runs advertised in trade 24/7, another 24 trillion groups looking for other types of dungeons, and the entire chat is filled with people looking to do dungeons. I don't know about you, but this chat spam is really starting to annoy me, and the Dungeon Finder will take away more than 90% of this spam. Okay, let's get into the juicy part. Now let's start with looking at the positive aspects of the Dungeon Finder. Number 1, the time saved. Not just by having to fly to the dungeon entrance, but the time saved by not having to manually look for a group. This puts you into a queue system, so you don't have to constantly spam other people for invites, or have the same looking for more message that you spam 4 times every single minute, just in order to appear before other LFM messages. Number 2, sticking with the same quality of life upgrade, not having to manually look for a group or look for others to join your group allows you to focus on the game itself while also actively looking for a group. For example, if I'm going to be looking for a group in TBC right now, I have to actively monitor the LFG chat and the LFG add-on in order to find a group, and I have to constantly be looking because the second a group pops up that I'm actually interested in, I have to be the first one to whisper so I actually get invited. In Wrath, because of the queue system, you queue up once and then you can put all of your focus into whatever else that you are doing, whether that is farming gold, doing daily quests, farming reputation, whatever. You can actively play the game while also actively looking for a group. So then, number 3. It removes the elitist aspect around creating groups. Right now, whenever you are creating a group, you could end up getting 10 different whispers from the same class trying to fill the same role. In that scenario, if you don't know anything about them, you're going to choose the one with the highest item level if you inspect them, or whoever can link the highest achievement. Well, actually there are no achievements in TBC, and there isn't really any item level either, but you get the point. When creating a group, you will invite whoever you think is the best among whoever signs up, with a queue system, which is what we are getting in Wrath. It allows for anyone to be grouped with anyone, which is a huge quality of life upgrade, especially for new players and casual players, which, believe it or not, is the majority of the players. And then, let's look at the negative aspect. So, number 1, the social aspect. So this is where I'm going to start my rant, because I feel like a lot of people hate on the Dungeon Finder for the completely wrong reasons. So in vanilla WoW, there was a huge social aspect of finding groups and walking to the dungeon together. And why? Because if you were under level 40, and let's say you played Alliance, and you wanted to go from Stormwind to Scarlet Monastery, walking to that dungeon took more time than doing the dungeon itself. It is a massive time investment. You wanted to know the people in your group were the right people for you, and you wanted to know that they had the time to stay for the entire dungeon, and you also wanted to test the group synergy to make sure there's no big argument mid-dungeon that leads to the group disbanding, because once again, creating the group and walking to the dungeon was a massive time investment, and you didn't want to waste your time. All of this did lead to a social aspect around doing dungeons in vanilla WoW, which could even lead to friendships being made, and I think a lot of people made friends this way in vanilla classic WoW. A huge reason for that is once again the time investment. You are in a group with the same people for several hours, and if you play well in that group, you might want to stay connected so you can run more dungeons together in the future, because simply finding a full group to run dungeons with could also be a lengthy process, so when you find someone that you like playing with, it makes sense to stay in contact. That being said though, this social aspect has already fallen off drastically in TBC Classic. It is not even comparable to vanilla classic WoW. Remember I talked about the time investment, both for creating a group and walking to the dungeon? Yeah, in TBC we have LFG add-ons helping us find groups, we have the LFG system once again helping us find groups, and you also have a lot of chat spam finding groups, and walking to the dungeon entrance is quite literally a 2-minute flight. There's not a lot of social interactions on that 2-minute flight. If anything, the people that are already at the dungeon entrance simply go AFK until everyone else is there as well. The only social interaction outside of the dungeon is the chat spam in the LFG chat, and if you call that social interaction, then I honestly don't know what to say. So where does the social interaction take place then? Inside the dungeon. So exactly how does the Dungeon Finder change that? Exactly, it doesn't. The only thing that changes is the player's subjective thoughts, and some people have this implanted thought of basically thinking that Dungeon Finder means less social interactions, so simply by using the Dungeon Finder, I am contractually obligated not to say hello or do anything social with my group. That is quite literally what a lot of people think. I actually have way more that I could say on both sides of the topic, but I think this sums up the majority of arguments both for and against the Dungeon Finder, and personally I think the positives far outweigh the negatives, and like I said, if the social aspect of grouping up and walking to the dungeon together is the reason why you don't want the Dungeon Finder, I am here to tell you the entirety of that social aspect was removed in TBC Classic anyway. There is still a social aspect associated with doing dungeons, but that social aspect takes place inside the dungeon itself. But hey, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please consider dropping a like on it. It really helps out my channel and it pushes the video into the almighty YouTube algorithm. If you want more Wrath of the Lich King content, make sure you click that subscribe button, as I'm going to be pumping out lots of Wrath videos, and you definitely don't want to miss them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.